Alright, welcome to the professional Battlefield 3 stream. We are now officially professional. We have a patron who is financially supporting us, and I'd like to say that we appreciate that. We being me. And the patron is likely to appreciate it too, since they're showing it with their financial support. That doesn't at all belittle the support that we've been getting through comments and feedback, but the financial support is appreciated because it allows us to have some capital to expand what we do, and to give what we do interesting context. There can be some cynicism involved with adding money to the mix, and that's a concern that I can more than identify with. I am suspicious of money. I typically try to avoid it when possible, and I have reasons for that. Let's look at Alex Peichel's comment here. Let's see. Alex says, in reference to officially becoming a professional Battlefield 3 stream, the money changes hands, the transmogrification of the commodity begins. Now, transmogrification has a specific connotation. I know this because I looked it up. Hey, what's up, buddy? I wonder where he's going. Hey, flashback.
Pick up that ammo, quick!
Thanks for the ammo. Transmogrification has a specific context. It basically means that something becomes more repugnant, I think would be a good way to put it. The suggestion is that because of the infusion of capital into this art form, we're going to see it become something monstrous, and I think we're all kind of excited about that possibility. I mean, let's be honest. The possibility of the stream becoming a monster of profit would be novel at the least, but at the most it could be a really interesting exploration of what capital does. And I think the last time we saw this happen on a grand scale was Minecraft. Minecraft started off as this like experimental project that was opened up to people. You know, before early access was a common thing, and Kickstarters were known. Before the populist capital was being leveraged, Minecraft opened up development to a larger group. Came at us and saying, you know, I am what I am, Popeye style, and then blew up. And while it managed to produce one of the most influential, and deservingly so, one of the most influential games in recent history, it also seems to have taken a toll on the creator. I'm not judging, but I would say that that quantity of money seems to have confused them, and it's interesting to have watched. And that probably started, what, like 2010 was when things started getting big there. So That was 5 years ago, and you know we need to repeat our mistakes publicly, so that the younger generations can see how the systems that our society is built upon work. So you know, let's make that happen with professional Battlefield 3 streams. So that brings us to another comment I'd like to address. Let's see, I'll hide behind this wall for a second and look at Sergio's comment. Sergio says, "It pleases me to think I made it onto the island of sincerity." Okay, and what Sergio is referring to is in the last video, I included motivations of I included part of the package you get when you join us for not only comments but financial support is this sense of it's like somewhere in between inclusiveness and exclusiveness. Like being in the know is not like it. I think hipsters are getting a pretty rough rap lately. Because there's this idea that hipsters are exclusive and feed off of that. I don't see it that way. I don't think that's what. I mean, I suppose some hipsters might do that, you know. But that's not what I think of when I think of hipstering. I think of the pleasure and communal intoxication of being in of recognizing something, recognizing the value of something that other people seem to have not really caught on to yet, and how that creates this kind of like this smaller yet open enclosure of people. It's like it's a freak flag. When you find something that hasn't really become popular yet, that you are like, this is fucking amazing, right? There's this threshold. If you show it to a friend of yours that you know from other circumstances, and your friend's like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but like you never really examine the reasoning that the two of you find it cool, that's one thing. When you find someone that you've never met before through an art object that doesn't seem to be highly valued or commonly valued, and through that through the reason of that art object, you start oh, look at, I never even noticed that there's hand dryers here. They're made by Dice. That's so cute. Dice is the maker of this game, the dev. So once you start meeting people through an art object, and then finding that, and then discussing the reasoning of the evaluation, starting to criticize it, and make arguments about what makes it special. Not only does it create this connection, well, I mean, it creates this connection. That's the main point. It's not this idea of, hey, we're better than other people. It's this idea of someone is like me, you know. Someone is like me in a way that I've not seen people be like me before, and I feel less alone. And I think that is a value. I think that's a valuable thing that professional Battlefield 3 streams can possibly give us. So let's talk about that sincerity aspect. All right. Let's talk about what sincerity is. And specifically, let's talk about its relationship to irony and humor in the absurdity which is professional Battlefield 3 streams. So, obviously, there's a cuteness to this entire idea. Calling it professional, even though it is, calling it professional, insisting on the professional prefix. Yeah, that is a message in itself, and it is a part of this project. So let's leave what that means to another time, and kind of talk about how there's this obvious self-awareness going on here, and is that ironic? Is that sincere? You know, what does that mean? So it's interesting. This is actually one of the most complex aspects of professional Battlefield 3 streaming, which makes me really excited that it's professional, because this is an interesting thing to explore in itself. So I'm aware of the cuteness, yeah, but does that oh, he's coming right down the escalator. Oh, so is this guy. It's an escalator of this is what hospitals should be like. Just the dead, the almost dead come down, and I just heal them when they get here, you know. Okay, so sincerity is a really difficult subject. We're going to approach this. I think the concern with irony is that it can create these situations of questionable motive. Not only questionable motive, but like taming of the shrew, trading places style, stoogism. We don't want anyone to be a stooge. That is not our goal. We don't want that to happen. So how can we? So will calling this a professional stream do that? Will I'm going to argue no. In fact, I would say we're all in on the joke, but the thing that makes the joke super funny is that it's not entirely a joke, and that can be really confusing. Yeah, I think as intellectual art fans, we don't really know how to handle that very well. How do you handle it? How do you handle a joke that's not entirely a joke? How do you handle appreciating that sincerely? And yet being aware of the irony. It's a paradox, and I think that paradoxes are inherently fascinating, because they forgive themselves. They are standing on themselves. They are two objects in space. Neither one being the body which the other one rests on. Or both of them being the body that the other one rests on, but yet canceling each other out. It's this antimatter-matter thing. I love paradoxes. So we have one here. Now, let's go back to this idea of money distorting the joke, yeah, or the non-joke, because it's both of these things. Okay, so I guess the way I'll put this is, so I co-host a podcast with my wife about hobbyist games, about free short games, and I'm in an interesting position. And we really appreciate the freeness of those games. There's a lot of reasons for that. There are implications about the motive of the game being made. There's implications about the access that people have to the game. Free games is different than commercial games or games that have financial motivations. My wife is aware that I'm a professional Battlefield 3 streamer now. And when we got our first patron, it got real for her. One of the things that she told me was she wants to make sure that it is explicit that the funds for the professional Battlefield 3 streaming are not supporting the Free Short Games podcast. So why would she do that, right? Why would that be important to her? Well, I know her pretty well, so I think I can kind of give you guys an idea. That was a pretty good run, huh? The reasons is because she doesn't want her motives confused. It's not so much that she doesn't want other people confused. She doesn't want to be confused herself about why that podcast is being made. She told me, the Free Short Games Talk podcast is like something that she can do in between working that is a way to spend time with her husband and talk about interesting things that she appreciates and that she sees that other people appreciate too. That she says she wasn't talking about the Free Short Games podcast when she said this, but she was referring to this stream actually. She was saying people are paying you by what they pay is attention. They don't pay money, they pay attention. That's what you should be appreciative of. People paying you attention. And I agree with her. And I am appreciative of that. And I'm appreciative of that in the Free Short Games podcast also. Paying attention rather than paying currency, So she doesn't want her motives to get confused. She doesn't want her motives to change because she knows that will change how she approaches the artwork, how she the expectations that others have of her, which is a really big thing with Chrissy. She's very much influenced by expectations others have of her, and I am too, aren't we all? And so yeah, this is a really interesting subject. I don't think we're going to come to complete understand. I don't think we're going to come to complete satisfying realizations and conclusions during this podcast. During this stream. But we are going to approach these questions because they're interesting ones, and they're relevant ones. And I want this to be, like I said before, I don't think that this will be something that will be a major subject for the podcast in the stream in the future. But I think initially there's definitely some value to exploring these questions right now. I think I'm gonna leave it like that just so I can put these up as pieces. Yeah. So let me in this stream. Where is the button?